Studio. Today I want to show you how to do the twice melted wax pendants. And I know I always say this, but I think this is really one of my favorite all-time projects. It just turns out so incredible every time. You get something different every time. So it's a lot of fun. So let's get started and show you how we do it. These are all the different pendants and necklaces and bracelets and all kinds of different fun things that I came up with using the wax as our color base and adding a little bit of glitter. And see how fun they are. And while we've got all the different shapes and sizes, and you can find some of the smaller ones and different ones in the stores, I found some really wonderful ones that we sell at Miriam Joy that I have not found in the stores. These are deeper. We have an oval. We also have a circle, which I've got running around here somewhere. We've got one here to show you, and pendants and a heart. And these are really, really great. They're deeper. Now the pendant is not quite as deep as the other ones are, but they work just as well. I melt my crayon in my low temp melting pot, and you can find those at miriamjoy.com. I use a Crayola crayon. I break it right about there into two pieces, peel the paper, and put it right in the well and let that warm. And then while it's warming, we're going to use glass eyedroppers, which you can also find on our site. And it's real important that they're glass and not plastic. And you're simply going to set that in the wax in the well, just right like that. And a lot of people want to know how they clean them, and I don't clean mine. I leave one for each color. The one thing that I will do is once I am done with a color is I'll make sure I squish it really well and get as much wax as I can out. You never want to pull the wax all the way up into the bowl, because once the wax dries it hardens and then it's really hard to get it working again. But they're inexpensive enough that you can do one for each color. So that's kind of the basics on how we're going to start that. We're going to do kind of an oriental looking one. And we're going to just, again, fill it completely with the red wax. All the way up. Just make sure you've got it filled enough that it's not really low down on the bottom. And we're going to let this one really cool really well. On this one, we want to make sure it's really, really dry. And you could do this with your texture brush as well, but it's a harder piece to get into. So I'm going to do it with a real coarse fan brush. And we're just going to dip it into our wax, and we're going to pull the lines. We don't want a lot of wax on it, just enough. And we're going to pull it in both directions. And I usually like to do this method with the texture brush. It seems to work a little bit better, but I was worried about getting into the area, so you could try both with that. And then it doesn't need a lot. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to melt it again, just enough. I keep trying to hold on to it, and I know I get in the way of the camera here. So, we've got that pretty good. So I'm just going to come in and melt that just till I want it. See how that really just takes that and just comes alive. And you also can do, if you want, just a couple of flicks You can do it with your fan brush or your wax brush, either one, just to get that on there. And that is a nice and simple one. And we can use different things to cover it. We've got 3D crystal lacquer and we've got Mod Podge. You may find that you prefer one over the other. The Mod Podge is supposed to be a little bit more heavy duty, so you could use that one if you prefer. But the crystal lacquer, I did a few of them with the crystal lacquer as well. So that's the reason we do not want the wax above, is we have to make sure that the crystal lacquer or the Mod Podge touches the metal. If it doesn't touch the metal, it's not going to seal the wax completely, and it's real important that we get a nice heavy coat on this so that the wax is sealed completely and it doesn't melt if somebody was wearing it and go anywhere. So that's real important. And I start around the edges, make sure we're touching that metal, and just work your way in, and it's going to be a nice thick coat. If you have any bubbles, you can usually get them out with a pin, a straight pin, or they come out. Sometimes you can just grab them and they'll come out. And we're just going to keep going around and around. Now you can see my wax actually goes down in, but that's okay because this is where the coat on top is going to cover all of that up. So then you would just let that completely dry, and that's going to take a while, probably overnight, if not longer, and just make sure it's nice and flat. And then once that's dry, all you're going to do is take your chain and run it through, and you have a neck. If you enjoyed our video today, come on over to miriamjoy.com, where we've done a class DVD on the twice melted wax necklaces. And if you think that's easy to say, try it a few times. And there's Christmas ones, Halloween ones. We've got, shows you how to do a stone, and we've also got kind of an Oriental one there for you. So check those out. They're a lot of fun. I'm sure you're going to get as addicted as I did.